You are probably watching this video on your phone right now. Your thumb is hovering, just a fraction of an inch away from the screen, ready to scroll away if I don't entertain you in the next 3 seconds. That urge? That twitch in your thumb? That's not a conscious choice. That is a deeply ingrained neurological reflex. You've been trained, much like Pavlov's dogs, to crave the next hit of information. But what if I told you that this little glowing rectangle in your hand is doing more than just distracting you? What if I told you it is physically, literally, altering the gray matter inside your skull? By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly how your smartphone is rewiring the physical structure of your brain. I'm going to show you what recent MRI scans reveal about heavy phone users, why your attention span feels like it's evaporating, and how the very core of your self-identity is being hijacked. But more importantly, I'll give you the scientifically proven blueprint to reverse this damage and take your mind back. Open loop 1, and wait until you see what the brain scans look like. It's genuinely terrifying. Let's travel back in time for a moment. The year is 2006. The original iPhone is still a year away from being announced. If you wanted to check the internet, you had to physically walk over to a clunky desktop computer, wait for it to boot up, and sit in a chair. Your attention span back then, according to cognitive researchers, averaged around 2.5 minutes on a single screen before switching tasks. Fast forward to 2026. The average attention span on a screen has plummeted to an astonishing 40 seconds. For Gen Z and Gen Alpha, it's closer to 20 seconds. We are living in an era of unprecedented cognitive fragmentation. Why is this happening? To understand this, we have to look at the brain's reward center, specifically the neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical, it is the pursuit chemical. It's the molecule of motivation. From an evolutionary standpoint, dopamine was designed to keep us alive. It spiked when our ancestors found a bush full of berries, driving them to remember that location and seek it out again. It rewarded effort with a feeling of accomplishment. But your smartphone has hijacked this ancient survival mechanism. Every time you get a notification, every time you pull down to refresh your feed, every time you see a red bubble with a number in it, your brain releases a microdose of dopamine. The tech companies in Silicon Valley know exactly what they are doing. They have hired thousands of behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists to design algorithms that operate exactly like slot machines. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pattern interrupt 1. When you pull a slot machine lever, you don't know if you're going to win. This is called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. Your brain goes crazy for uncertainty. When you refresh your social media feed, you don't know what you'll see. Will it be a boring ad? A funny meme? A message from your crush? That unpredictability skyrockets dopamine release. You are essentially carrying a digital casino in your pocket, and you are pulling the lever 2,600 times a day, which is the average number of times a person touches their phone daily. So, what happens when you flood your brain with artificial dopamine hits all day, every day? The brain is a master of homeostasis, it likes balance. When it senses an unnatural surplus of dopamine, it defends itself by reducing the number of dopamine receptors. This is called dopamine receptor downregulation. Think of it like being in a noisy room. If the music is too loud, you put in earplugs. Your brain puts in neurological earplugs. The result? You need more and more phone time just to feel normal. And normal, everyday activities, like reading a book, having a deep conversation, or just sitting quietly with your thoughts, suddenly feel agonizingly boring. They don't produce enough dopamine to penetrate those earplugs. This is why you can't watch a movie anymore without simultaneously scrolling on your phone. Your brain is starved for high-velocity stimulation. But it goes deeper than just dopamine. Let's look at the actual physical structure of the brain. Recent MRI studies comparing heavy smartphone users to light users have revealed something shocking. Open loop 2, and this physical change explains why you might be feeling more anxious than ever before. Researchers have observed significant cortical thinning in heavy phone users, specifically in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the CEO of your brain. It's responsible for impulse control, long-term planning, deep focus, and emotional regulation. When this area thins out, your ability to focus degrades. Your ability to resist temptation vanishes. You become reactive instead of proactive. Imagine your brain is a muscle. When you lift weights, the muscle tears and grows back stronger. But when you outsource your memory, your navigation, and your critical thinking to your smartphone, the muscles in your prefrontal cortex atrophy from lack of use. Why remember a phone number or a fact when Google knows it? Why learn how to navigate your city when GPS does it for you? We are cognitively offloading our intelligence to a piece of glass and metal. And then there is the emotional toll. The constant connectivity has triggered a chronic state of hyperarousal in the amygdala, the brain's fear and emotion center. We are living in a perpetual state of FOMO, fear of missing out. Evolutionarily, being excluded from the tribe meant death. Today, seeing your friends hang out without you on an Instagram story triggers that same primal survival fear. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a digital exclusion and a physical one. It pumps out cortisol, the stress hormone, keeping you in a low-grade state of fight or flight all day long. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pattern interrupt 2. It's not just about what you're missing out on. It's about who you think you are. The most insidious rewiring happens to our self-identity. In the past, your identity was forged through your actions, your relationships, and your contributions to your physical community. Today, self-identity is heavily mediated by algorithms. We construct avatars of ourselves online and judge our self-worth based on metrics, likes, views, followers. When a post performs poorly, it's not just a piece of content failing. To the brain, it feels like a rejection of the self. We are training a whole generation to base their self-esteem on the unpredictable whims of a black box algorithm designed to maximize ad revenue, not human well-being. Now, you might be thinking, okay, phones are addictive, I need to use mine less, maybe use screen time limits. But here is the massive twist that most people miss. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pattern interrupt 3. The twist isn't that your phone is addictive. The twist is that the tech companies aren't just capturing your attention, they are fundamentally reshaping your perception of reality to fit their business model. You think you are using the phone, but the phone is using you. It is shaping how you think, how you vote, how you feel about your body, and how you interact with your loved ones. The cortical thinning in your prefrontal cortex makes you more susceptible to outrage, polarization, and impulsive buying, all of which are highly profitable for these platforms. You aren't the customer. You aren't even the product. Your modified, predictable, impulsive behavior is the product being sold to advertisers. The phone is literally whittling away your free will, one notification at a time, turning you into a highly efficient, data-generating node in their network. So, are we doomed to become mindless, scrolling zombies? Absolutely not. The brain has a superpower called neuroplasticity. Just as your brain was molded by your phone, it can be remolded by your intentional actions. Neuroplasticity works both ways. Cortical thinning can be reversed. Dopamine receptors can grow back. You can reclaim your prefrontal cortex. Here is your actionable, 3-step blueprint to rewire your brain back to health. First, the 24-hour dopamine fast. I challenge you to take one day a week, let's say Sunday, and turn your phone completely off. Put it in a drawer. No social media, no YouTube, no quick Google searches. Your brain will scream at you for the first few hours. You will feel phantom vibrations in your pocket. This is withdrawal. But by the afternoon, you will notice a profound sense of calm washing over you. The mental fog will lift. You are giving your dopamine receptors a chance to reset and upregulate. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pattern interrupt 4. Second, grayscale mode. Your phone's screen is engineered by color psychologists to be as visually stimulating as possible. Bright reds trigger urgency, which is why notifications are red. Go into your phone's accessibility settings and turn the screen to grayscale. When your phone looks like a dull, boring newspaper, the slot machine effect is drastically reduced. Your brain simply doesn't get the same dopamine hit from a black and white image. You will naturally find yourself checking it less. Third, environmental friction. The rule of habit change is simple: make bad habits hard and good habits easy. Stop sleeping with your phone next to your bed. Buy a $10 alarm clock. When you wake up, do not look at a screen for the first hour of the day. This first hour sets your neurological tone for the rest of the day. If you start with high-velocity scrolling, your brain will crave it all day. Instead, start with low dopamine activities, drink water, look at natural sunlight, stretch, read a physical book. But here's where it gets really interesting. Pattern interrupt 5. If you implement just these 3 things, within 30 days, your MRI scan would literally look different. Your prefrontal cortex will begin to thicken. Your attention span will stretch back out. You will find joy in simple things again. You will regain your focus, your identity, and your agency. Your mind is the most powerful tool in the universe, but right now, it's being hijacked by a piece of glass. It's time to take it back. If this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button right now. We dive deep into the neuroscience of everyday life every single week to help you optimize your brain and take control of your reality. Share this with someone who is chronically online, they need to hear this. Until next time, put the phone down, and go experience the real world.